today's Vinyasa yoga flow. Happy hips and maybe splits. We'll focus on the happy hips and see what happens. We'll need a strap or a belt or a scarf, 2 blocks and a blanket. A chair might be really helpful, maybe 2 chairs. So feel free to grab whatever props you need in the process of exploring today. Let's start off lying down and landing on our backs with the knees bent, feet as wide as the mat, constructive rest pose, knees resting in towards each other, and place your hands on the lowest part of your belly as a gesture of landing and coming home to your body. And feel all the feels. Notice what it feels like to be in your body today, without any judgments or expectations in this process, this self-inquiry of self-care, and again, of coming home to your body as we approach this practice again with curiosity and playfulness. Breathing down into your pelvic bowl, front, back, and sides, as you allow your body to be supported by your mat, by the floor, by the earth. Breathing into the physical perimeters of your being as you embrace all aspects of yourself. 3-dimensional breathing, 3-dimensional being. We are 3-dimensional beings. The breath is our first step in acknowledging different and new movement possibilities within, and we'll explore expressing that outwardly as we explore our hips and tiny steps to change our perspective, to change our vantage points, maybe a little leap of joy, leap of faith as we explore the process towards splits. But remember, any amount of the pose is the pose. So I encourage you to be curious, but also meet yourself where you are. Bring your feet inner hip width distance apart so that the knees point straight up. Keep your hands in the lowest part of your belly, and we'll expand our breath so this hands on our lower belly is a hugging into our truth and where we are today. And from that place, we move and expand. So press through the feet, lift the hips, and extend your arms to the sides rather than overhead for today. And as you exhale, hands to your belly as the hips lower down. 5 more times. Actually, let's do 8. Inhale, expanding. Exhaling, hugging and looking inward in self-acknowledgement. Own breath. So from this place of self-acknowledgement, self-respect, we can expand outward, we can express ourselves, we can offer ourselves from this place of acknowledgement. Really today we're going to explore along the way hugging in. We need both hugging in and expanding out, or becoming magnetized to our core, and from there energizing outward, or like electricity outward. Make sure you're lifting from your glutes, not your ribs. Ribs and belly soft to the back body. And then take your hands, the heels of your hands, to the frontal hip points, and some gentle rocking of the pelvis here to acknowledge one of the potential movements of the pelvis. So as you inhale, the tailbone drops down, and you may feel the frontal hip points moving towards your thighs. And then on your exhale, the opposite, lift the tailbone and allow the frontal hip points to come closer towards your bottom ribs. And do that 6 to 8 more times, rhythm of your own breath. Checking in with technology, but you keep on going. And after your last round, We'll grab on to our straps. This could be helpful to have a loop at the bottom of the strap, but you don't have to loop it. I like to make a longer loop that way. For this variation, there are times when we're working on our grip strength, but for this variation, our hand could be lightly supporting the strap. Keep your left knee bent and take the strap around the sole of your right foot. And again, you can hold on to both sides of the strap with your hands or make that loop. Sometimes making the loop is the most challenging part. Compassion. So we'll meet in a half happy baby pose. So left knee is bent, left foot on the ground, and you will bend your right knee. I like to call this sequence a nice hippie dance. Half happy baby pose. I might change the angle here so you can see. My right knee is towards the right side of the mat, towards the ground, and best I can, right sole of the foot to the sky. Half happy baby. Relax shoulders, relax face. Soften your right hip crease as you bend your right knee, right sole of the foot to the sky. Keep holding on to the strap with your right hand and extend your right leg to the right without dumping into the outer right hip. So keep the back of the left hip heavy towards the ground, and we'll alternate. Bending, half happy baby. Exhale, extending. 3 more times, own breath as you explore that. And all the while, you're maintaining a core awareness. Imagine you're hugging your frontal hip points in towards each other as you soften the sides of the waist and ribs towards the ground. Let's meet with that right leg straight and reach it straight up to the sky now. Straight up to the sky. Couple cycles of breath with the right leg centered. Left hand holds on to both sides of the strap, right arm out to the right. Lower onto your outer left thigh and left knee as you reach your right leg to the left, parallel to the ground. And we'll dance with that, lifting to center, so the left knee also lifts. Right hand holds on to strap, right leg to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left, right arm to the right. You can look to the right. 3 more times, rhythm of your own breath. Enjoying a little hippie dance, using the breath and movement to land you into your body, to bring you a sense of centeredness. Side to side. Again, keeping that core awareness, moving with purpose and intention. Pressing the foot, your right foot into the strap through the movement so you get some self-traction. Let's meet with the right leg to the left. Stay here a couple cycles of breath. Extend the right heel away from you. And the outer right hip lengthens away from your right armpit. And breathe. 3-dimensional breath. Bring it back on up to center. Now pause here. Hold on to the strap with your right hand. Stay here or extend your left leg forward. And that movement that we did with the pelvis, explore that. Tilting the pubic bone, the tailbone down. See what happens with the right leg. And lifting the tailbone up, frontal hip point to the ribs. You might notice the right leg comes closer in towards you. A couple more times like that. And we'll meet with the pelvis tilting back for this variation and a strong left leg. And see if you can release the strap and keep your right leg where it is, pelvis tilting back. Interlace the hands behind your head, a little sneaky here. Elbows frame your face, so bring the elbows close together, curl up, keep the head heavy, and activate the neck muscles enough that you can keep your head up, stay here, or reach your arms forward and breathe, extending out from your core. Stay here or lift the left leg to hover. For 3, 2, core sneak attack, and 1, slowly releasing. Bend both knees, strap off the right foot, both feet on the ground. Pause and process what just happened. Strap around your left foot. Left foot. Keep the right knee bent, half happy baby to the left. Pause here, reorientate yourself in space. And then extend the left leg. I'm going to scoot to the side, to the left, long left leg. Great. And alternate there, alternate. Half happy baby on the left side. And extending your left leg to the left. So we're gonna do about a total of 5 here. Showing our hips some love. A really nice sequence if you work at the computer or you do a lot of sitting throughout the day. Even this sequence, this movement can be really helpful to balance out habitual patterns of modern day living. Let's meet, left leg straight, left leg up to the sky, pause here, relax the shoulders, flex the toes, heels pressing away from you. And let's dance, right hand, hold onto the strap, floor into your outer right thigh and right knee, pause here. Get familiar with this shape on this side. And we'll boogie with the right left leg up and to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. About 4 or 5 more times. Keep that core awareness. Breath awareness. And even though we're moving in a rhythmic way, it's in a way that is unhurried and unrushed. We can have a dynamic practice without rushing, without having that effect on our nervous system, like a background of ease and effortlessness. And we'll bring it to center, left leg up to the sky, stay here or extend your right leg forward, strong mountain right leg. And that tilting of the pelvis that we did before, explore. So have some give on the strap. As you tilt the pelvis forward, meaning you drop the tailbone, you may notice the left leg moves away from you. And as you tilt the pelvis back, the left leg comes closer in. Let's meet with the pelvis tilting back, hugging that left leg closer in. Stay here or release your hand. Interlace your hands behind your head, elbows close together, curling up. If you want, you can already begin to hover that right leg. Stay here or reach the arms forward and breathe for 3. Sneaky core attack, 2. And 1. Slowly and mindfully releasing, bending the left knee and right sole of the foot to the ground. Pause and notice the effects of your efforts. Bring your feet closer together, knees together. Right knee over left knee. Stay here, hug the knees in, holding on to the back of your thighs, shins, ankles, or outer edges of the feet. Flex the feet. For this variation, you can also draw the heels further away from your bottom so they're about in one line, and then gently hug the feet closer in towards your shoulders for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully releasing, switching sides, left knee over right, knees hug in, holding on to shins, back of the thighs, or outer edges of the feet. You'll lift the heels higher away from your bottom, hugging the heels around the feet towards your shoulders, and breathe for another 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing, extend your legs forward and reach your arms overhead, big body yawn, and then bend the elbows, open up the shoulders, circle around the shoulders 3 times around each direction, unloading, letting go of anything you're carrying that's not yours to carry. And we'll meet with the elbows overhead and slide your upper body and your lower body to the right. Find your mountain legs, energize the front of the thighs, and reach your sitting bones towards your heels as you breathe into the spaces in between your ribs for another 3, 2, and 1. Bring it to center, big body on in between, and now slide it to the left. Bending your elbows, opposite hand, opposite elbow. Reach and extend through your heels and breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Bringing it to center, big body yawn. Exhale, bending your knees, hug them into your chest. Little circles around 3 times. Rinse cycle. And then 3 rock and rolls, forward and back. Forward and back. Until you make your way on up to a seated position. And we'll sit cross-legged. Feel free to sit on a block or a rolled blanket. Right shin in front of left. Opposite ankle, opposite knee. Flex your feet. Hands to the soles of your feet. Shifting the weight slightly forward and pressing your hands and your feet together. Now you may stay here or keep pressing hands and feet together and fold. Breathe or meet yourself where you are. You're hinging at your hip creases. Relaxing shoulders from the ears. Breathing 3-dimensionally for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release. Come on up and switching sides. So now left shin in front of right or your other shin. Press your feet and your hands together. And then from there, long through the spine. So the sacrum in and up, and then folding forward and breathe. For another 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing, coming on up. Make your way to hands and knees, all fours. Couple rounds of cat-cows. Rhythm of your own breath. Move it any way that feels good to you. Body circles. And we'll bring it to center. Curl your toes under. Round through the spine and bring your hips back. 2 more times. Inhale, neutral spine forward. Exhale, round through the spine and bring your hips back. 1 more time. Neutral, rounding, and hips back. Neutral spine again. Circle your ankles and wiggle your toes. And have your blocks nearby. We'll make our way into a half hero's pose. Nice stretch for the quad. So take your left foot forward. You may need a block or 2. And the right foot will be slightly wider than your right hip. And have a seat on the ground or block. Slide your left foot back behind you. I'm not back behind you. Slide the left foot closer in towards your left sitting bone. Right foot will be back behind you. And make sure the right toes are pointing straight back. Press the 5 toes of your right foot down to the ground. And then take your hands on the ground or blocks. Make sure right knee's coming straight out from your right hip. Lift your hips, lengthen your tailbone forward, and then lower the hips down again. So you might feel more of a stretch there in the front of your thigh. If you don't need a block, that's great. I think I need a block today. You can stay there or begin to lean back. But if the lower back starts to arch, then get off at the bus stop before. Most important is to reach your tailbone forward and the pelvis is tilting slightly back, more back. So you may feel a stretch towards the front of the right hip, right thigh. Pressing the inner right knee down to the ground and keep the heart lifted. Don't let this quad, hip flexor stretching diminish your inner light for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully walk your hands forward. Press the top of the right foot down, right toes down to mindfully make your way on out. And we'll switch. You can first circle your ankle. And now right foot will be forward. Have a seat on the block or a blanket. Left knee straight out from your left hip. Okay, and then press down through your hands. Lengthen your tailbone forward. So you lift your hips and tilt the pelvis slightly back and keep that, lower your hips down. This side might be really different. Or you can lean back with or without a block. It can be helpful that when you lift your hips, widen your seat more to the right, and then lengthen your tailbone, and then lower down. Meet yourself where you are, breathe. Sides of the waist to the back body. For 3, 2, and 1. Mindful as you can, releasing. Press the left toes down, top of the foot, and make your way onto your hands and knees. Circle your ankles, spread your toes, and forward onto your belly now. Okay, so we're not coming into cobra, but sort of cobra. Forehead down, hands below shoulders, maybe further back or maybe further forward. Bend your right knee to the right. You can look to the right. Half froggy leg. So right knee about 90-degree angle from your hip and a right angle with your right knee and your right shin. Make sure your left knee is pointing down. Press the top of the left foot down and you'll push up a little bit or more if you need into cobra as you look over your right shoulder. So the left arm might be lengthening more, the right elbow may be more bent. Press the top of the left foot down and drop your tailbone down. So you might need to do less. If you feel in your lower back, do less. You can even pop up onto your forearms and look over. Pressing the top of the left foot down, tailbone towards the ground for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing. Slowly, slowly, and we'll switch sides. So now left leg, bent left knee, half froggy leg. As you push up, slide your left knee more to the left and look over your left shoulder here, pressing the top of the right foot down. You can come onto your forearms if you need. And pubic bone down. Make sure your right knee is pointing straight down for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, lower down and center. Okay, for this one, come up onto your forearms. And you'll take your left fingertips to the right. Bend your right knee again like a froggy leg here. And you'll roll a little bit more towards your left hip as you look over your right shoulder, bending your left knee and grab on with your right hand. Meet yourself where you are in this variation. You may find that laying down on the ground is more than enough, or it brings the sensation in a different place. And as you roll a little bit more to the left, spin your heart to the right. And you can press your left foot into your back hand. Drop the tailbone and breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing. And we'll switch sides. Left knee, half froggy leg. Come up to your forearms. You can reach right fingertips to the right. Look over your left shoulder. This side might be really different. Bending your right knee, grab on with your left hand however you like. Looking over. Breathing here, dropping the tailbone for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing. Forehead to the ground as you overlap one hand on top of the other. Forehand to your hands. Even rock your hips side to side. And slowly push your way on up to hands and knees and downward facing dog. Any movements that you need in between. Pedal it out, bending one knee and the other. Walk your hands towards the back of the mat. Bend your knees a lot. Ragdoll, letting go to the opposite hand, opposite elbow or tricep. Unload your spine, release your head, release your face. Then release your hands down to the ground. Press to the feet and roll it on up one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to come on up. 3 shoulder circles back once you're at the top. And let's walk to the top of the mat. Finding our mountain pose. Feet inner hip width distance apart. Root down, rise up, extended. And as you exhale, hinge at your hips, bend your knees, and fold forward. Now, as we do this, forward fold, keep the knees soft and take your hands to the outer shins, like the outer calf muscles, the more meaty part here, and energetically resist your hands. You're gonna hug your shins in, so energetically hug your shins in, but then widen your inner thighs in, back, and apart.
Thinking of shins in, inner thighs in, back, and apart. And then lift up from your inner knees to your inner groin so that your knees are not collapsing in towards each other. Lifting up from your inner knees to your inner groins. For 3, 2, and 1. Slowly releasing. Bring your hands to the ground and step it back into down dog with the feet as wide as the mat. Do the same thing here. So you keep a softness in the knees, softness in the hip creases. Imagine you're hugging the shins in, but then the inner thighs spiral in, back, and apart. And then lift up from your inner kneecaps to your inner groins as you drop your heels down towards the ground. For another 3, 2, and 1. Now bring your feet inner hip width distance apart. Lift your right leg up to the sky and step your right foot in between your hands into a high lunge. Reach the arms up and slide, or rather move your left heel more forward so it's over your left toes, and bend the back knee and then get really nice and bouncy here. And then finding your center, and same thing here. Hug the shins in, widen the thighs apart. And as you drop down the tailbone, lengthen the leg bones from the core of the pelvis as you lift and lengthen the spine through the fingertips. And as you exhale, lower the hands down, downward facing dog, or you can take a high to low push-up, and that's what you would like today. And we'll meet downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up. Step the left foot forward. Rising up into a crescent lunge. Bending the back knee and sliding the right heel more forward over your right heel. Get nice and bouncy. Feeling and yielding to the earth. And finding your center, hug the shins in. Widen the inner thighs apart. Drop the tailbone in from the core of the pelvis. Lengthen through the legs. Inner body bright and buoyant. On your next exhale, hands to the ground. Step it back. Downward facing dog, or take a high to low push-up. Meet yourself where you are. And then inhale, right leg lifts up. Exhale, right foot forward. Spin the back foot flat. Warrior 2. I'll switch directions so you can see. And finding your power in the path through the feet. And reverse warrior, tilt back. Bend through the front knee. Lift the right frontal hip point. And warrior 2 to straighten out the front leg, triangle pose. Right hand to right shin, left arm up to the sky. For this variation, flip the left palm forward. Left bicep over left ear. Turn your gaze to your inner right foot, still strong through the legs. Puff up the upper ribs. Keep pressing your right big toe down and pull up from your inner knee to your inner groin for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly releasing to that normal-ish triangle pose. Bend your right knee. Right hand, right forearm to right thigh. Left hand to left hip. Now look forward past your right toes. Walk your left foot forward. Now here you may need a block or a chair. Chair's all good. Shift the weight into your right leg. Lift the left leg. Energize the left leg and the left foot as soon as you lift it. Or you might have fingertips on the block. Pulling up from your inner ankle, inner knee, inner groin. Stay here, left arm up to the sky, spinning your ribs to the sky for 3, 2, and 1. Bend the right knee for the landing. Woo, reach back, warrior 2, nice. Straighten out your front leg. Spinning your toes in. So all 10 toes are in one line. And the rotation is happening from the inner thighs, the upper inner thighs. Hands to the hips, lengthen through the spine as you exhale. Fold, hinging at your hips. Hands to the ground, about shoulder width apart. Or there's a variation, bring your fingertips out wide. Shift the weight slightly forward. Now bend your knees, bend your elbows. And as you exhale, press the earth away with your feet as you pull the thigh bones up into your hip sockets. And press your fingertips down, bend the elbows wide, shoulders from your ears as you fold more deeply. Again, pulling up from your inner knees to your inner thighs here. Breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Pressing down to lift up. Walk your hands to the original front of the mat and make your way downward facing dog, or taking a high to low push-up. High to low push-up. Inhale, lift your left leg up. And exhale, left foot forward, back foot spins flat. Warrior 2, finding your feet. So there's this magnetizing inwards, this hugging into midline and keeping that expanding out. Reverse warrior, tilting back. Keep lifting through the left frontal hip point. Warrior 2 to triangle. Straighten out the front leg. Lower down less than you normally do. Right arm up. Engage the legs. So press through the left big toe. Pull the inner left knee up. Then right bicep over right ear. Look to the inside of your left foot. Puff up your upper body a little bit more as you spin your heart teeny bit towards the ground. So you get more of a side body stretch here for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly make your way into triangle. Bend your left knee, left forearm to left thigh, right hand to right hip. Slowly, slowly, unhurried, unrushed. Walk your right foot towards your left, shift the weight into your left leg, lift your right leg up. Half moon, your half moon. Keep a slight bend in that left knee and pulling the front, the inner left knee towards the inner groin. Make sure you're energizing your right leg and your right foot. And bend the left knee, reach back for the landing. Woo, warrior 2. Nice work, straighten out the front leg. And pigeon toe your toes inward. This time, interlace the hands behind your back. Bend your elbows and press your thumbs into your sacrum. Lift your armpits, roll the collarbones open and hug your inner elbows closer in towards each other. And from there, you can begin to squeeze the arms towards straight without the ribs popping out, and then hinging at your hips, pull forward. Shifting the weight slightly forward towards your toes as you pull up the front of your thighs, especially the inner thigh, or rather the inner knee, that space, that place, that muscle. It's called the vastus medialis. Pulling that up for 3, shoulders from ears, 2, and 1. Slowly releasing your hands. Walk your hands to the front of the mat, stepping it back into down dog. Take a high to low push-up if you like. And slowly make your way onto your knees or into child's pose. Nice again to take power in the paws. Any child's pose you like. Okay, we'll make our way into a pigeon pose variation, but this will take some prep work. So we'll fold up our mats. Fold up our mats 1 or 2 times. And we'll take a blanket or a towel. If you don't have a blanket or towel, or this variation does not resonate with you, then feel free to do your usual pigeon. So we'll come into pigeon. We'll start off with the knees on the blanket and make your way to half pigeon pose with the right knee to the outside of the right wrist on the mat, and your left leg, the knee and the left leg, left foot is on the blanket. We'll do some sliding here, sneaky slide, blanket slides. Fingertips on blocks or the ground, you hug in and you slide back. And we'll do this about 6 to 8 times, 6 to 8 times here. So we're practicing this concept of hugging in and maintaining that sense of integrity and meaningful boundaries in which to expand. No hands if you want. A little bit of strengthening after we do a lot of stretching. And let's meet at the top, breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Sliding it back. And feel free to take for a breath or two. Folding forward pigeon. Breathing. About 2 to 3 cycles of breath. Relax your shoulders. And then slowly make your way onto your hands and knees. No rush. And it doesn't have to be pretty. Just needs to be mindful. And then we'll switch sides. Left knee outside of left wrist. Adjust your blanket so that your right knee and foot are on the blanket and you're able to slide. So making sure your right leg is coming straight out from your right hip, about 6 to 8 times. Core awareness. Oh yeah, this is not the usual pigeon. Soften your face and your eyeballs, again without hands. And we'll meet after your 6 to 8 in your pigeon. Slide the right knee back and fold. The process would just happen. Breathe. And then slowly make your way onto your hands. No rush, hands and knees. Sliding the right knee in. And we'll take the blanket to the side. Unroll the mat. We'll be visiting something similar again soon. Meaning in downward facing dog and having your blocks nearby also. Hips up and back. Pedal it out. And then inhale. Lift your heels. Bend your knees. And on your exhale, we'll step, hop, or float to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Root down, rise up, extended mountain pose, and exhale, arms to your side, hands to your heart. Well, having chair or 2 blocks nearby, in front of the mat, we'll step just behind them. Keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back like a shortened warrior 1 stance. So about heel to heel alignment, maybe a little bit wider. Let's keep the same concept of hugging in. So you're hugging front foot to back foot. Press through the right big toe and pull the thigh bone up into the hip socket, especially that inner right knee, pulling that up. And the back inner thigh, you can even use your left hand to spin it toward the sky. Okay, so keep connection of the feet, then taking your karate chop side of your hands to your hip creases and fold into your pyramid pose. Again, right big toe mound down, pull the front of the thigh up, especially the inner front of the thigh. And it's if you're scrubbing your left heel to the left. So that will bring the left hip more forward and the right hip a little bit more back. Now maintain that awareness through the legs and the feet. Press down through the hands, so make sure the blocks are directly under your shoulders. Keep a long spine, drop the tailbone. Keep length through the side body. Now take both hands to the right block, the block on the right side. Press the feet down, drop the tailbone, press your hands down, lengthen your spine. Right hand to right hip and pull your outer right hip back. Drop the tailbone, right shoulder blade back to the heart, right elbow to the sky. Stay here, right arm up to the sky. Revolve triangle for 3. Hug the shins in towards each other, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing. Take your hands to your hips, shoulder blades onto your back, tuck the chin slightly, long spine, and come all the way on up. Nice, switching sides. Woo. Left foot stays forward, right leg back, about heel to heel alignment, like a shortened warrior 1. And again, scrubbing the right heel towards the back, towards the right, press left big toe down, pull up the front of the thighs, karate chop. So you're reaching the sitting bones back as you hinge at your hips, scrubbing that right heel to the right. Left big toe down, pull the front of the thigh up. As you pull the left thigh bone into the hip socket, allow that to deepen and hinging at your hips. And press down through your hands, long spine, tucking the chin slightly, and exhale, folding for a good couple cycles of breath. But keeping your legs strong. And the sides of the waist softening to the back body. Shoulders from the ears, and then press down through your hands and your feet. Feet in your hands. Allow your hands to be like feet. Keep that length through the spine and hands to the block outside of your left foot. Left hand to left hip. As the outer left hip pulls back, lengthen the spine forward, pressing through the back foot. Drop the tailbone, left shoulder blade, back of the heart, left shoulder blade back, left elbow to the sky, stay here, or left arm up to the sky into your triangle. Hug your shins together. Pull the front of thighs up, drop the tailbone, engage the core, and mindfully as you can. Woo, releasing and fold. Hands to your hips, strong to the legs, shoulder blades down the back, elbows to the sky, long spine. Come all the way on up. And step the back foot forward, shake it out if you need. Woo, good work. Top of the mat will meet to flow it down. And exhale, folding forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, step it back, down dog, or take a high to low push-up. And lower down to your knees. Okay, using a blanket if you need to pad up those knees. We'll explore some half split variations. Blocks or two chairs nearby or a chair. Let's step the right foot forward into a low lunge. So the left knee will be slightly behind your left hip. Curling the toes under. Blocks if you need. Lunging forward, press down. Through whatever's touching the ground, lengthen the spine. Breathing, open the heart. And again, make sure you're not dumping into your lower back. So hips come back a little bit and lift the frontal hip points. Now stay here, sweep your arms up. So I'm not dumping into my lower back. Actually, I kind of am right now. I'm gonna back off a little bit and lift my frontal hip points and now hug front foot to back knee to front foot. There's that magnetizing here, that's hugging into your midline. And you can keep that and allow the hips to lower more, but not by collapsing into the hips. Press to the right heel, lower the hands down to blocks. Now blocks can slide back with you. Reach your hips back and lengthen through the front leg. So adjust however you need to so the left knee is directly below your left hip. Now I'm flexing my entire right ankle, not just the toes. Now the same thing here, I pull the front of the thigh bone upward, especially that inner knee, and I spin my left inner thigh back. Then I press down through the fingertips, lengthen or engage the core and lengthen through the spine. Pull your right pinky towards the right pinky of your foot, towards your right shin, and press the inner edge of your right foot forward. And then you can fold forward and breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, bend through the front knee. Try to do it with the least amount of drama as possible. Switching sides. Again, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to be mindful. We'll step the left foot forward. Curl the back toes under for these variations. Press down through the blocks or the ground, fingertips lengthen through the spine. Now bring the hips back a little bit. Lift the frontal hip points. Hug front foot to back knee to front foot. As you lift and lengthen the spine, you can also keep your hands to your front thigh, reaching the arms up. So again, I am hugging front foot to back knee to front foot. Soften the base of the ribs in. So I'm backing off. So I'm creating a meaningful boundary in which to expand. So keep the frontal hip points lifted, the ribs softening and belly in and up, and then allow the hips to lower just a little bit. You're like toning your right glutes for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing hands to the blocks. You might need to slide your left foot more forward, bring the hips back, and flexing your entire left ankle, not just the toes, the entire left ankle. Press the left heel down into the ground and energetically pull it back. And toning the inner left thigh, especially pulling it back. And then inner right thigh back, left hip back. Left pinky to left outer shin. Reach through that right or left big toe and fold. That feels good to you. For another 3, 2, half splits here. And 1, slowly releasing, bending through the front knee and with the least amount of drama as you can. Again, as many steps as you need. Hands and knees. And we'll do 2 more variations of half splits or splits. For this variation, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. And again, blocks handy. And you can spin your right toe slightly to the right at diagonal. And curl the back toes under. Let the hips lower just for a moment. And we'll do half split variation here. Walk your hands so that your inner body is facing the front left diagonal. And then bring the hips back. Okay, so a little bit more at an angle. Same thing here. Press the right heel down, energetically pull it back and tone the front of the right leg. Pinky edge, right pinky toe towards the outer right shin as you reach and extend through your inner right foot. Breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing. Walk your hands forward and stepping right knee back. Switching sides. Left foot outside the left hand. Turn the left toes out slightly. Let the hips drop for a breath or 2 to even out what just happened on the other side. And we'll bring the hips back, curl the toes under, flex the left ankle, walk your hands more like a downward dog to the right diagonal. Flex the entire left ankle, press the left heel down, pull back. And breathe, allow the hips to sink back. For another 3, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing, walking the hands to the front of the mat, left knee back. 1 more variation. Right foot forward, blocks may be very necessary or a chair. And come into the same way half splits we did before. So lengthen the right leg. And now you're going to take, so you can keep your right hand on the chair or a block, take your left hand to your right leg to assist your right heel, right leg to the left, and then take both blocks to the right. Soften your eyeballs, flex, taking that outer right hip back and breathe. Might feel a little bit more on the outer side seam of your right leg. For another 3, flex, press the heel down, 2, and 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing. Left hand can assist right leg forward, bend through the front knee, and hands and knees. Bring your left leg forward. Right hand to left leg to assist it to the right. Blocks, hands, chair to the left. And reconnect to your breath. Breathing here. Flex your entire left ankle. Might want to curl those back toes under for stability for 3, 2, breathing. Drama bubbles up when we forget to breathe. And 1. Mindfully as you can, releasing. Again, you can use your hand to bring the left leg to the left, bend the left knee. Hands and knees. Okay. Last little setup. So now, either you could fold up the mat or make sure you have enough space that the blanket will be at the front edge of your mat. Blocks or a chair on each side for support. We will set up the same here, but this time in a 90-degree lunge, no 90-90. So you might need to have your left knee up towards the edge, right foot on the blanket, and hands to your hips. And begin to slide the blanket forward and hug it in. We'll meet here for this variation. Slide it in and out. In and out. Do that about 6 to 8 times, and then we'll add on sliding. Let the hips go only as far as you can pull it back. So 6 to 8, keeping the left hip over the left knee. And then 6 to 8, sliding only as far as you can bring it back. That means the hips will go with you. And just remember to curl those back toes under for stability. Whee. Have fun with it, curiosity, less is more. We are taking a leap, but from an integrated place. And I also like to add in, if it's not too much for you, starting with your hands to the lowest part of your belly and expanding out, like we did on our backs. And 6 to 8 times each variation. Yeah, hugging into your midline. And if you want, you can explore a little bit more each time. Could be from the heart too. I like to focus on the lowest part of my belly, or the core. And after your last round, woo! Slowly release, standing on your knees. We'll do the other side. Okay, yay for blanket slides. Curl the back, right toes under, right knee below the right hip. Forward and back. 6 to 8 times on the left side. And you can hold on to 2 chairs by your sides. I find that extremely helpful. It's part of the yoga process is accepting support and meeting yourself where you are. And then from there, you can allow the hips to slide more forward. This side might be different. Only as far as you can pull yourself back up. And curling those back toes under for support. As you come on back, lift the frontal hip points. Maintain integrity in the core. And if you want, you could do 6 to 8 more. This time with, if you're not using the chair, hands to the lowest part of your belly, or you could even direct your attention there. And as you inhale, expand. And as you exhale, contract. But not in a collapsed way. Maintain that awareness of toning that inner knee upward. And after your last round, slowly releasing, hands and knees. Shake out your arms, do a couple of hip circles after that. Nice work. Way to explore. Splits, maybe splits, half splits. Any amount of the pose is the pose. We'll make our way onto our backs. Well deserved as we enter a space of non-doing. Just as important as the doing. Way to change your vantage point. Taking a small to less small step forward, leap of joy or faith. Even if it's tiny, huge difference. As long as it's integrated and meets you where you are. Supported bridge pose. Press to the feet, lift your hips. Place the block low side or medium side underneath your pelvis. And allow this to be a shape to begin marinating in all the fruits of your efforts, noticing that internal yoga buzz you created. Possibly a new vantage point. Now they say, this has said that action breeds clarity. So yay for taking small steps to seeing things differently, new vantage points, exploring new vantage points and perspective along with new ways of movement possibilities. Let the pelvis be heavy. Let the front of your body soften to the back. You can stay here as long as you like. or feel free to make your way down to the ground into your resting pose. Resting pose, you may want a new vantage point there. That can include taking up more space than you usually do, or resting pose on your belly or on your side. About a minute here, short but sweet, Shavasana. Feeling yourself supported by the ground and by your breath. Softening from the inside out. Releasing the bones of your face to the ground. Releasing your jaw. Softening your eyeballs. You are supported. And stay here as long as you're able to and can and have the opportunity. Not slowly deepen your breath, bring movement back to fingers and toes, turning your head side to side. With awareness, bending one knee and the other. As you gather your knees into your chest, give yourself a big hug of gratitude for investing this time. A radical act of self-care. Roll on over to whatever side calls to you. Pause. Head is the last thing to come on up. Make your way to a comfortable seated position. Eyes can be closed or a soft gaze. Overlap your hands on top of your heart. And think of one thing in your life that you're grateful for, no matter how big or small. We'll end together with one cleansing breath. First, empty out all the air from your lungs. Inhale through your nose, fill up. Exhale, and as always, gratitude for practicing together. May it all be a benefit to us and everybody else around us. Namaste.